Leroy Smith offers $1 million reward for Mudwater's identity. Budget 2022 presentation today. DPP refuses to increase charges in Orrin Boston murder case. And second FPSO to start pumping soon. I'm Enrico Bulford, and this is Uncut News. If you see news happening, send us a tip on WhatsApp at 592-659-6151. Tonight, we're doing things a little different. We're starting off with our stupid news of today. And you know what I think is stupid? The fact that Leroy Smith is personally offering a reward to anyone who will snitch on mud. Now, before I go any further, I give this disclaimer. I understand that Leroy's upset. He's allowed to have his grievances, and I'm not defending or supporting anyone else's opinion about anyone on anybody. I can only speak for myself in my own opinions. But you do have to pause for a second and consider the scenario and its absurdity on a cosmic level. Leroy Smith is a real-life, experienced crime reporter, one who frequently reported on crime during one of the bloodiest, unstablest periods of our nation's post-colonial history. At a time when journalists were being targeted and threatened, he exposed corrupt civil servants, dirty cops, and vengeful suspects of all shapes, sizes, and manners. And yet, it was the squeaky-voiced cursing cartoon character that he wants to hunt down because that individual hurt his feelings in a TikTok video. Personal motivations aside, the fact that a journalist could have a beef with an animated YouTube comedian shows just how cartoonish things are in Guyana in 2022. Well, it's also a reflection of another obvious fact. The traditional media in Guyana is dead, or at the very least, it's in a coma and on deep life support. And it's honestly a situation that was caused primarily by cheap, nearsighted station owners and managers, improperly trained journalists, petty regulators on the government level, selfish advertisers, disrespectful politicians, and a fickle viewing audience. And honestly, to a major extent, copyright laws, but that's a topic for another stupid news story. Ultimately, whatever credibility the traditional media had in the minds of most Guyanese died years ago. I mean, years ago. So, this is why you've seen a major shift to people getting information through social media rather than traditional news media. And the PPP picked up on that years ago. They realized that it's easier to dedicate resources to a few individuals with a large online following than to whole TV stations. Now, I'm not going to name names since people are in a suing mood this year, but the fact remains that the Guyanese public's low opinion of the media and the increased attention to social media personalities has huge implications on our nation and how we relate to each other and how we understand our world. This reward is honestly one such example of these implications. It's honestly the only reason I could imagine why an established journalist could feel personally attacked and embarrassed by a cartoon. So at the risk of sounding rude, Leroy Smith, if you're watching this, let not your heart be troubled. One TikTok video from a comedian is not going to negatively change the general public's opinion of you, whether positive or negative. So, just give it a rest. Keep reporting, because honestly, it's embarrassing at this point. Instead of wasting $1 million on a stupid reward for a cartoon, you could honestly just give it to me, and I will proofread and edit all of your online articles for the next 10 months. Because I read your work every single day, and honestly, I am very disappointed. If I was your English teacher in primary school, it would have been bare licks for you. Well, for starters, here's one free tip. The word you are looking for is credible. You are looking for credible information on Mudwater, not creditable. Frankly, I've never used the word creditable in my life before just now. I honestly had to look it up to see if it was an actual word. Or you know what, even better yet, don't give the money to me, give it to some hungry children who really need it. In fact, I'll even start a fundraiser here to match your $1 million, and we can donate it all to the charity of your choice. But the point I'm trying to make is that as a public figure, sometimes it's wiser and cheaper, especially when it comes to lawyer fees, to ignore people who hurt your feelings, especially if you believe that they are making easily refutable claims, because all he did was increase the attention to the video, the same attention he was trying to avoid by imploring his audience to snitch on mud. Besides, when was the last time you heard of someone putting up a reward for the creators of Family Guy or even South Park? People get made fun of, and they deal with it. All of this is to say that the whole situation, in my opinion, is pretty stupid. Oh yeah, and don't sue me for that spelling joke, by the way, Leroy. I'm just being honest, you really got to work on it. Now, with that out of the way, now it's time to tell you about Best Buy's car of the day. Currently on sale is this 2016 Mazda CX-5. It comes with Bluetooth, mag rims, new tires, TV, CD, stereo, LED fog lamps, electronic parking brake, back camera, side camera, rear spoiler, and much, much more. Buy cash for $6.2 million. I'll pay down as low as $1,240,000 down with around $120,000 monthly for 5 years, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info. Or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Road Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and to the Rico Century for this sweet deal. According to Exxon, they are only days away from firing up the Liza Destiny, the company's second FPSO vessel to operate in Guyanese waters. The ship has a pumping capacity of 220,000 barrels of oil per day, which will increase our total daily output to around 340,000 barrels at max capacity. And according to them, by the end of the decade, Guyana will easily produce over 1 million barrels a day. Drill, baby, drill. Speaking of oil money, today was this year's national budget presentation. And according to the government, this is the first budget that will be fueled by oil money, a majority of which will go to finance the massive amounts of construction projects that are about to take place all around the nation. There are also measures to reduce taxes for most citizens and businesses and support the various economic sectors of the nation. I'll go into more detail in tomorrow's episode. The DPP is refusing calls to upgrade charges against Sherwin Peters, the officer accused of fatally shooting Orwin Boston. The DPP says she chose to push for manslaughter charges based solely on evidence the police gave her. Nevertheless, he's expected back in court soon. Coming soon, take a look at this beauty being constructed in a gated community called Richmondville in Guyana. It features 4 bedrooms, 1 pool with 7,000 square feet of living space, along with modern amenities. Contact Sheriff Construction on 592-618-5702. Following Harman's official resignation as opposition leader, the PNC said they need more time to figure out just where they go from here, as Harman will still remain a member of parliament. While the PNC has made it clear they want Norton to take the role as opposition leader, the opposition's MPs would still have to officially vote for him. But seeing as Harman is still a parliamentarian, and they are only allotted 31 seats in the House, they will have to convince one person to resign altogether to make room for Norton to then vote for him and that whole thing. A fire of unknown origin damaged one of the generators at the Anna Regina GPL plant this morning. Firefighters quickly put out the blaze before it could spread to other generators at the plant. Officials are still assessing the extent of the damage. 42-year-old Tavita Lal is currently hospitalized in a serious condition after her husband set her on fire. According to reports, on January 13th, the man came home and doused Lal with kerosene and lit her alight. The abusive psychopath has since been arrested. You can multiply your cash by selling digital top-up. This is a legit way you can earn some extra money at your business or to supplement your current hustle. Become a top-up vendor quick and easy through Cellular Plus. Call them on telephone number 685-3109 for more info. Aggrieved Turkish national Emre Kermet says that he has reached an amicable resolution with his employer. With the help of Newsroom, a couple hospitable lawyers, and the Labor Ministry, he was able to contact the headquarters of the company in Turkey that made sure that the hotel made a significant payment to him. And he says that his employer, or rather his superior here, has since been suspended, and an inspector is now coming from Istanbul to check out things over here. So, good for him. Now, when are we going to hear about some of these employers getting charged with wage theft? Just saying. 23-year-old Ryan Murray was today sentenced to 16 years in prison for fatally stabbing one teen and wounding another in 2016. According to the court, Albert fatally stabbed 19-year-old Dalton Emanuel and wounded Mark Edwards during a drunken argument in Yarakita, Northwest District. It's now time for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 424 new cases. There are now 1,154 persons dead, 19 in the ICU, 12,762 in home isolation. and the total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 58,196. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. It's now time for our Uncut News Views Poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. As today's question was, what do you feel about the police force offering security for private persons going to the bank? Steve Enriquez says it's a nice gesture from the police, but we all know it's just to save face. Indeed, indeed. I Am Venom says that it's a good initiative, but he'd really like to see how the private security and the police will actually pull it off. However, Francisco August summed it up the best. He said, what we need is not bank escorts, but reform to the banking system in the country where internet banking systems can be introduced so that business owners and their partners will easily pay for goods and services by a simple bank transfer, thereby enabling a form of cashless policy. There's no need for people to be carrying huge money around. Something that I agree with 100%. And speaking of things I agree with, I also agree with Child of the Sun's comment about the Guyana Airways guy. Yes, I too was very troubled by that, and I'm actually working on something. But, again, I am just one man, so it's going to take some time. So, before we get to tonight's question...
Hey, I'm interrupting this program to let you know that not all truck parts are created equal. Some does work hard without any problems for a long time, while others does make your truck broke down quick and got you running your pockets again. Get genuine high-quality parts from Powered Automotive truck spares and engine parts and extend the life of your repair. They're the authorized dealer in Guyana for Hammer USA products like brake valves, clutch discs, universal bearings, and others. Visit them at 1161 EE Eccles or call them on 697-0171. Powered Automotive, the #1 truck and engine parts store in Guyana. If you didn't know, well, now you know.
Now for tonight's question. I want to change things up. I want to know if you have any questions for me, Noriko, and I'll see what I can answer in the next episode. Any question you like, but not who Mud is, because if you ask me that, I'll tell you exactly what you can haul, and you can choose where to haul it. So with that being said, think about the questions us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, and check us out tomorrow for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.